Hello, beautiful people. So for today's dance class, we are going to do a little exercise for balance. And I've done one before about balance, and I was specifically going over balancing in releve, so going up on what people call your tippy toes, going up on the balls of your feet. We're not going to do that today. We're going to break it down to a very simple exercise, especially for you guys that are new to learning about balance, or you may really struggle with balance. This is something that's super basic and simple. And even then, doing this exercise, if you're not used to balancing on one foot, or it's a concept that you struggle with a little bit more, this exercise will still be a little bit of a challenge for you, and that's okay. So we take on challenges and we conquer them, okay? So for this exercise, we're going to focus on certain techniques that help you build balance in your body, okay? And it's really important for you to learn how to balance, not just for dance, just for everyday physical activity. And your body and your mind are synced up together. So the more balance you have in your body, the more you can have in your mind, and vice versa, right? Okay, so for this first exercise, we'll do like two little exercises. One of them I learned in Pilates. So this is a Pilates movement. The second one I'm going to show you. So let's start. We're going to be standing up. Okay. So I'm going to get a little closer, okay? Well, yeah, I'm going to get a little closer so you can really see what happens during this exercise. So I know you can't see my face right now, so I'm going to have to come down like this. But when you do this exercise, you're going to stand up straight, and you're going to squeeze your inner thighs together. You're going to stand up as straight and tall as you can, keeping your upper back lifted, your shoulders down, keep them relaxed, looking straight ahead, squeezing your inner thighs together. And first, what I want you to do is wiggle your toes around while you're standing like this, okay? Make sure that your toes are pointing directly forward. You can have your hands on your sides. Just wiggle your toes around and make sure that they're relaxed, okay? So now, first what we're going to do, we're going to squeeze our inner thighs together. You want to make sure your tailbone is down. So what I mean by that is I want you to stand here and make sure that you're not arching your back, okay? You want to make sure your tailbone, which is the bone right here, right above your butt, right in the middle, is down, okay? So you can go, you're making basically a line as straight as possible. Of course, we have a natural curve in our lower back, of course. So you don't want to eliminate that. You just want to make sure that things aren't completely out of alignment. So see, that's completely out of alignment. Right here, I'm tucking in, and this one I'm arching too far back. Okay. So you want this balance. So the reason I'm standing pretty close and you can't see my head is because I want you to pay attention to the lower part of my body. So when I do this exercise, I want you to look closely and see if you notice me shifting slightly from left to right. So my goal is to try to make sure that as I'm standing here, I want to make sure my weight is evenly distributed over my left and my right. So I don't want to lean towards one side more than the other. So while I stand here, I'm going to take deep breaths in through my nose, out through the mouth. And while I stand here, I'm going to make sure that the weight of my body is evenly distributed, okay? So right now, my weight's not more towards the balls of my feet, and it's not more towards my heels. It's right in the middle. So I'm squeezing my inner thighs together. I'm standing tall. And any little movement I notice in my body, if I start rocking from left to right, which will happen, I'm going to work on adjusting it and trying to make sure I'm as centerized as possible. So you may not be able to see in this video, only if you look super closely. But you may be able to see me shifting a little bit from left and right. So your goal is to try to make sure you eliminate as much of that rocking back and forth as possible. Legs are completely straight. So I like to imagine my feet having roots growing out of them into the floor below me, okay? And if you notice, sometimes I have a space between my legs and then I squeeze them shut. So I'm doing that because I'm a little bow-legged. I used to be really bow-legged where my calves would stick out all the way to the side. So we're not going to talk about that. That's just part of my own personal work that I'm doing on my legs to try to keep them as squeezed together as possible, okay? So I just want you to pay attention and see if I rock from left to right. So while you're standing here, make sure your legs are completely straight. Imagine your legs just being these long lines that are reaching out into the floor, into the ground, with roots growing out of the bottoms of your feet into the earth, planting you nice and solid and strong. You should feel really strong, like nobody can just knock you over. And just take these deep breaths. Standing nice and tall. Okay, so now that's just to practice you really focusing on being centered, okay? And it's actually, if you really pay attention while you're doing the exercise, it's actually kind of hard because we're not used to being completely still and having our weight evenly on our left and on our right. We tend to gravitate towards one part of our body more than the other. Sometimes if we're either left-handed or right-handed. For me, I'm left-handed, but my right side of my body is the strongest. So my weight tends to go to my right more often. So you want to make your body as synchronized and even as possible and evenly flexible on both sides, because that's going to help relieve the joints in your body and everything. So even doing an exercise as simple and basic as that will help you do that. So now, the next part of the exercise, I'll step back a little bit more so you can see me fully. And then I'll probably move so you can see from the side too. But for this part of the exercise, what you're going to do is once again, have your feet completely together. And actually, I'll stand at an angle like this. So you can see, I'll move a little closer, yeah, I think that's better. So you can see what my feet are actually doing. So once again, I'm squeezing my inner thighs together, and what I'm going to do is keeping my weight evenly distributed. I'm slowly going to pick up my right heel. 1. So right now, my weight is evenly between my right and my left, even though this right heel is picked up. So if I try to pick this up, I'm going to be off balance, okay? And that's okay for this exercise because I want my weight evenly on both. And now I'm going to press my heel down. Now, other foot. Going to pick up the heel. There should be no shift in your body. So right now, you're working on making sure there's as little of a shift as possible. Roll that heel down. Next foot, pick it up. Make sure your hips aren't moving, so your hips shouldn't pick up, they're just relaxed. Lower that heel down. Other foot, pick up the heel. Lower it. Breathe out as you lower that heel. Breathe in as you pick up your heel. Out as you lower it. Now, for the next part, we're going to actually pick up the ball of the foot. So, for the first part, we went like this. So, the ball of my foot is still on the floor. Now, for the next part, you're going to pick it up so that it's just the tip of your toes on the floor, okay? But when we do that, your weight is going to shift. So watch. Watch from straight ahead. So the first part, I'm here, my weight is not shifting, okay? See that? But when we pick up the ball of the foot this time and we go all the way to the toe, see how I shifted this way? That's what you want, because now I could just pick it up freely. Now when I lower it to the ball of my foot, watch, see I shifted. Now I'm lowering down because my weight split evenly that time. So now we're going to do the other foot, pick it up. Now slowly shift your weight a little more to the standing foot. Then go back down to the ball and lower all the way down. And other foot. Lower back down. Pick it up. Shift your weight. Shift it back evenly. Lower down. And again. And I'm going to do that again facing completely to the front so you can see the shift that happens in my body with my balance, okay? Pick it up. Shift over. I'm a little bit shaky because I'm super sore. Now other foot. Move. See that shift? And lower. Now lower all the way. And up. Shift. And lower. Down. Here are we on time? Okay, perfect. So, when you guys get that part of the exercise down, what you can do next to take it to the next level to work on your balance is then actually pick up the whole foot. So, from here to then pick it up. And then lower, plant it, back down. Okay? And then having that foot slightly pointed, lifted up off the floor, you can do a countdown and see how long you can hold it. Or just hold it for a brief second and then slowly lower from the tip of the toe down to the ball and then all the way to heel down. Okay? So that is a simple, super basic exercise to work on getting your body aligned so that you can create greater balance in your body for dance, for everyday activities.